For a long time, I thought becoming a better version of yourself was supposed to be a mostly solitary thing. You decide you're going to change your life, you make some rules, you wake up earlier, you go to the gym, you read some books, and you work on whatever it is that you care about. And eventually, I thought you just become the person that you wanted to be. But looking back over the last year or so, I don't think that's what actually happened. I think a lot of the reason why I'm here now is because of the people around me. And it's interesting to me because I just used to be a very different person. I used to apologize for things that didn't need an apology. I'd make jokes at my own expense before someone else had the opportunity to. I was barely eating some days. And I remember being at work and just feeling like I was constantly being picked apart. And instead of thinking maybe these people are treating me badly, I think some part of me just assumed that they were right. I didn't like the person that I was. And I think for a while that I convinced myself that that's just who I was. Quiet, insecure, a little awkward, and someone who would make fun of himself before anyone else could. Someone who wanted more out of his life but just didn't really know how to get it. And the strange thing is when you stay it like that long enough, it just starts to feel normal. You stop noticing that you're doing it. You just become accustomed to shrinking yourself a little bit because being big is so scary. Then eventually something changed. I had a friend prove that it was possible. He put in the reps, he completely changed his life, and it was so inspiring to me. So I started taking the gym seriously. And honestly, the gym was probably the first place where I got tangible evidence that I could actually change. Not overnight, not in some dramatic transformation montage, just slowly. I ate more, I trained harder, I got stronger, I looked different. And there was something about that process that completely changed the way I thought about myself. Because for the first time, I wasn't just hoping that I'd become someone different. I was watching it happen. And once you realize that you're capable of changing one part of your life, it becomes a lot harder to accept that the rest of your life has to remain the same. So I started taking other things seriously. Music, learning piano, getting better at guitar, producing, making videos, trying to build something instead of just talking about what I wanted to build. And I think that's where this whole thing gets interesting. Because the more seriously I started taking my own life, the more I realized that I couldn't do all of it alone. Not because I wasn't capable of doing things alone. I think there's a difference. I think you can absolutely work alone. You can sit at a desk alone for 6 hours. You can practice guitar alone. You can go to the gym alone. You can go read every book you want to read alone. But eventually you need someone to look at you and say, keep going, or you're actually getting better. Or sometimes, dude, you're overthinking this. And I don't think I understood how important that was until I started having people around me who were also trying to become better versions of themselves. Because something changes when the people around you are moving too. Suddenly, improving yourself doesn't feel quite so weird. You stop feeling like you're the only person in the world who cares about this thing. You start having conversations about what you're working on. You send somebody a song, you tell somebody about a video idea, you talk about what happened at the gym, you help a friend get a job. They tell you about something they're struggling with. And before you know it, you're not really doing this alone anymore. You're just surrounded by people who are also trying to figure their shit out. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned. Your environment matters way more than you think it does. Because when I was around people who made me feel small, I just became smaller. And when I was around people who made me feel like everything that I did was something to apologize for, I apologized more. And now that I'm around people that are actually trying to build something with their lives, I want to build something too. It's contagious. And I don't really mean that in a cheesy, motivational way. I mean, literally. You watch someone work on themselves and it reminds you that you can work on yourself too. You see a friend taking something seriously and suddenly you feel a little embarrassed about the things that you've been putting off. Not because they're judging you, because they're moving, and movement makes you aware of how still you've been. And I think that's why friendship becomes so much more important when you actually start pursuing something seriously. Because there are going to be days when you don't believe in yourself. There are going to be days when you make something terrible. There are going to be weeks where nothing seems to work. Then on those days, you don't need another productivity system. You don't need another book, another speech. You just need someone who knows what you're trying to do. Someone who can look at you and say, yeah, this sucks right now, but keep going. And I think I've started to appreciate those people more and more. Because there was a time when I would have looked at needing that kind of support as weakness. I would have thought, if I'm really serious about this, I should be able to do it by myself. But I don't really think that's true anymore. I think there's a difference between depending on someone and allowing someone to be a part of your life. And maybe that's part of growing up. Realizing that strength isn't necessarily about being completely self sufficient. And sometimes strength is being able to say, hey, I'm struggling, or hey, can you listen to this? Or do you think this is actually any good? Or even just let's go do something. Because sometimes the thing that gets you through a bad week isn't some profound realization. Sometimes it's your friend texting you. Sometimes it's going to the gym together. Sometimes it's sitting in the car talking about absolutely nothing. Sometimes it's about sending someone a shitty demo at 1 a.m. because you finally made something you're proud of. Those little things matter. And I think they matter even more when you're pursuing something that doesn't give you immediate results. Because that's the hard part about all this. No one really gets rewarded for trying. You can spend 6 months learning music production and still make a song that nobody hears. You can go to the gym for a year and still have days where you don't like how you look. You can make tens of videos and have them go nowhere. You can work your ass off and still feel like you're standing in the exact same place. And when that happens, having people around you who understand what you're trying to do becomes incredibly valuable. Because sometimes you're too close to your own life to see that you've changed. You don't notice that you're less insecure. You don't notice that you're speaking up more. You don't notice that you're actually eating enough. You don't notice that you've stopped making yourself the punchline. And you don't notice that you've started believing that you deserve to be in the room. But someone else might. And that's another thing I've learned. Sometimes your friends know that you're changing before you do. And maybe that's one of the coolest things about having people around you that genuinely care. They can hold a version of you that you fully haven't become yet. They can look at you and see the person that you're trying to be before you believe that you can actually become it. And I think I've needed that. Because for a long time, I didn't really have a clear picture of who it was that I wanted to become. I mostly just knew who I didn't want to be anymore. I didn't want to be the guy that hated himself. I didn't want to be the guy who got home from work and just disappeared into the rest of the night. I wanted to make things. I wanted to be strong, confident, and make music that actually sounded like me. I wanted to be proud to be living the life that I was living. And I'm still not all the way there, not even close, but I think I'm finally moving in that direction. You don't necessarily become a better person because you found the perfect routine. Sometimes you become a better person because you found better people, people who challenge you, people who support you, make you laugh, make you want to work harder. And hopefully you become that person for them too. Because it's not supposed to be one person dragging everyone else forward. It's more like we take turns. Sometimes I'm pushing someone else. Sometimes someone's pushing me. And sometimes neither of us have any idea of what we're doing, but at least we're moving. Maybe that's what friendship's supposed to be. Not somebody who just gives you the answers, but somebody who makes it a little easier to keep searching for them. I think about the person that I was a year ago, and honestly, I don't even think he would have recognized the life I'm living now. And I don't mean that I've made it. I haven't. I still have days where I doubt myself. I still make music that's terrible. I still overthink. I still get insecure, and I still have a lot of growing to do, but I'm here. I'm making things, I'm working towards something, and I'm surrounded by people who are doing the same. And maybe that's one of the biggest differences between the life that I used to live and the life that I'm trying to build now. I don't really feel like I'm standing still anymore. And I don't think I would have gotten here by myself. So to the people in my life who push me, challenge me, listen to me, laugh at me, or just been there while I figured all this shit out, thank you. Like actually. I don't know where any of this is going yet. I don't know if the music turns into something. I don't know where these videos take me. I don't know what my life's going to look like a year from now. But I do know that I'm a hell of a lot more excited to find out than I was before. And honestly, I'm pretty grateful for that.